Right, well, ladies and gents, my UPS, which is a very good one, oh, sorry, when I say it's a very good one, it's been very good for me, has failed. It's not plugged in, and it's obviously not holding a charge, which is a shame. But it has been quite the workhorse for some years, and it deserves a battery change. So we're going to do that. I'm going to show you the first part about taking them out today, and then the second part about putting them back when I get some more, because I don't have any on hand. So we take a screwdriver, and no, we're not going to get in there, but that's the wrong sort of screwdriver. Of course, it is one of these special, which one would that be? I'm going to say probably not the smallest, but the next one up. Is it? Oh yeah, that's, oh, I can actually take that out without putting a handle on the screwdriver. That's never happened before in the history of the earth. And get a little container to put the screws in. Bet you the other ones won't come out so easily. I'll have to get the handle on. Oh no, that one too. Okay. It doesn't happen very often, folks, that you can take screws out of equipment by hand, unless of course I've changed the batteries in this before. No, I would have tightened them up. Maybe I've just got super strength. You know what the last one will be. Oh no, I've got it as well. Well, actually, do you know what? When I'm turning those, I hear the little crack that usually means that it hasn't been opened since the factory, but anyway, I shall show you why. So we're taking the back off. Now, not all of them are the... Oh, no. Do you know what? I forgot the Eaton's. I think you get the... Yeah, you get the batteries from the front, and it is that screwed. Okay, so don't do that. Don't do that. Just take off the front. It's very easy. You don't have to worry about special screws. I'll put those back in later. Anyway, from the Eaton, some of them you take off the back, some of them you take off the front. This particular one, you know, you'll work out how to get it off. I'm just showing you how to get to the batteries on this model, but you'll be able to get to the batteries on your model by... That slides down on the Eaton. So here are the batteries. Here's the juice part. Now, just because the batteries are flat, it doesn't mean we don't get to treat this with respect. So we're still going to treat it like it had 12 volts charge in it, because that is actually true for a brief period. It may still have 12 volts, but it has no amps, so... Well, very few amps, so it's... Anyway, look, the potential is, what I'm trying to say is it could still hurt you. So generally these sort of slide out like that, right? Now this is your battery pack pair. Usually there's two, maybe not. But anyway, the reason I'm showing you this knife is to be able to replace them, because you take the old ones out and you take them to the shop and you say, I want new ones of these. Or you can... That's very loud, isn't it? Sorry about that. You can actually get off, keep that bit. Right, because that's what shields it again. Doesn't matter if there's a bit of old tape on there. You can always put more. So, oh god, there's even more of it. Whoa. Sticky crap. That's really sticky, actually. I could probably reuse that to keep the two batteries together. Anyway, just make a note of how they're connected up. So we can see here. Probably be better off showing you this way. Although it does fit in the other way. So, we can see here that we've got a negative, sorry, a positive and a negative. On the outer terminals. and then the negative and the positive are joined with a jumper wire on the inner terminals. So basically what we're doing here is we are, I'll just try and twist that out of the way. Okay, so we're still using 12 volts, but we are doubling the amps. So where are we here? It is a 12 volts, 34 watts. Oh, I hate it when they do this. Why don't they just have amp hours? I think that's maybe, is that 7.5 or 9 amp hours? Anyway, oh look, it's not about that. But you take this to the shop and you get a new one. So these just slide out. Like, they're a bit tricky to get off sometimes, or you can just take the whole lot down and they'll put the new ones in for you. But these special, oh, that's odd. Come on, they are quite well. There we go. It does come out, but you just have to use a bit of force. There we go. So we've got one free. Two, hang on to that, and three, hang on to that. Right, so that's it. So these are the disposable bits. These are wet cells. They've got refill holes, but we don't refill these. These are just disposed of. I mean, you could refill it if you really wanted and refresh it, but it's just, this isn't about that. This is just about replacing the batteries. So you take it down to the shop and you say, I want another one of these. Now, if it is, they go up in size. So these ones could be 7.5. I think 9 is about the limit for this size. So if they turn out to be 7.5 amp hours, you could actually replace them with 9 amp hours as long as it's still 12 volts. It doesn't matter, it'll just extend the life of your UPS. So you can put a higher, as long as it's the same size and the same voltage, you could put, if it's a 7.5 amp hour, you could put a 9 amp hour on it, and you get a little bit more mileage out of it. So yeah, so that's how you take the batteries out of your UPS, and you just take these down to your local electronics shop. Here it would be J-Car or well, we don't have Tandy or Dick Smith anymore. I suppose J-Car is probably the best go. Or you can go to Battery World or whatever. Take these down, they'll give you some new ones, and you can actually persuade these, because these are stuck on this model with a bit of double-sided sticky tape. They're just extra shielding for the terminal. So you can keep those and you put them on the next one, they'll stick down. It's just to stop things accidentally touching the terminal. It's more of a sort of, you know, it's harder to get zapped. But yeah, so we're still treating these as live, because they will have some voltage in there. You may be able to keep them for testing stuff, for small, if you're into that, for small voltages like lighting a light strip or something. They might be okay with that. They will charge up, but they won't hold a decent charge. Not enough for a UPS, but they might be alright for messing about with, because we can, oh no, hang on, I haven't got any leads for that. We can get a multimeter out. Oh, I don't need to untangle it, Lloyd. Whoops, 20 volts. Can you see that too? Yes. And we'll go positive and negative, and it's still registering 13.36, which is a decent voltage for a charged battery. It could be this one that's the problem, 13.06. So because this is a little lower than that one, and it's just come out of the power systems, I would say that this is possibly the battery that is failing. I mean, they both might be, but you would expect them to be more equal than not. And 13.37, so call it 13.38 volts, and 13.0 is quite the gap. But anyway, I would probably keep both of these just for fiddling around with. You could hook up a set of lights to them, and they might take a charge. Where's the light thing? It hangs all the way down here. There it is. I'm going to take that off. That's a little pre-wired thing that I made. So we can possibly run that. Yeah, they're running. They're alright. And on the lower voltage one, yep, that's running. I could do tests on them to see which one's running down, but you know, these are for tinkering now. They're not for UPSs where things need to be absolutely beaut. Even if you did recondition them, I would probably say don't use them again for a UPS. Just use them for, you know, if you're a bit of an electronics enthusiast and you're messing about in the shed, or you want a little battery to run some lights when there's no power, these would be fine. You know, it's not a critical system. Anyway, I'll show you more when I come to put the other ones back in, and how to, well, not avoid, but how to manage inrush current, because it has a flash and a bang. Welcome back. Yesterday I showed you the dead UPS batteries. Now, there is one difference. Today we have new ones, and I bought 9 amp hours like I said I was going to. Now, let me just clarify something. Yesterday, what I was saying about, oh, you've got to keep these one on the outside and on the inside, and then you'll get a bit of blah. What I was trying to say, because I was too excited about working out whether the batteries were, which one was less or more. These get connected in series. So we're doubling, so it's really 24 volts coming out of that at 9 amp hours. We're not going to get 18 amp hours at 12 volts. We're getting 24 volts at 9 amp hours. Anyway, what I wanted to show you briefly was before we go ahead and change them, go right ahead. We're going to put our little leads in here, because I want to show you the difference. Now, let's take the top battery. Let's put this on the right DC volts. We'll take the top battery, we'll connect it to there, and there. I want it further down, so okay, so that's 12.72 volts. Now, if I load it up with the light, like I did yesterday, that's a recipe for disaster. Let's just put it there. If I light it up with the light, we'll see how much it goes down. I might just turn that so it does. No, you're supposed to wake up so we can see you. Come on. Thank you. So, if we put that on like that, see how that drops right down to 9.5 volts? Shouldn't do that with a good battery. And we take it off again, and it goes up to 12.5-ish. So if I try the same experiment with this battery, come on, so we've got 1305, we load it up with the light, and see, 1290, 96. So 1305 to 1295, we're really not. This tells me that this battery is fairly good for keeping a charge. So that's what's fouled the footpath there. So we get our white marker and we write, no, that's not a white marker, it's the right colour in the body, and we write sus on it. And this one can be play, because now we know that that's okay for play, and that one's sus. So we've got ourselves 2 batteries. So without further ado, let's get stuck into these. Knife. And let's put it all back together and I'll show you what I mean. So, go away, fly. It's summer. Well, it's coming into summer, it's spring. And they are all out and about being Horrible. So we take all of that off. We get these and put them back on to form a bit of protection. Same with this one. I won't be all day about this, but the unfortunate bit is it's tricky to get these back into some sort of order. Right, take off the protector things and put the other ones on. That's negative, that's positive, and we'll give a quick test to these. Negative, positive, 12.5, 12.47. So these are at storage capacity. So what we need to do now is to get them in. Let's get them in. Do, 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 do. No, don't be silly. So we plug these together, and then we put this one on here. I could glue those things down properly if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Oh, maybe I should have, having said that. Right, so that's all on now. That's fine. Now, what has to happen, and I actually had to watch the video back yesterday to work out what was going on. One of these has to spin around, and then what happens is... Oh, okay, well, I can't remember which way is which now. I was relying on the green stickers on here. So, the green stickers are on the backs. So we need to have one reversed to the green sticker was on this side the way I did it, so that's upside down. Yeah. So we need the back of it with the green stick. Okay, so that's the way we need it. And I'm just going to tidy up these cables a bit. This is, as I said, this is the most difficult bit, getting this to get into some form that it can be put together properly. Because you've excited all the cables. Maybe I need to adjust that. Being careful not to put too much strain on the terminals. Oh, we go. There we go. Now we're right. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass because you've got to get everything there. Right. This goes back on. Come on. Get in the hole. There we go. Right, we've got that back on. Now we get our... I don't really know what that was for, but what I think we'll do is we'll put it here to keep those two. That's the stickiest bit. You're the stickiest one. Oh, and I've also picked up a little bit of metal filings in there, which I had on the bench in the shed, which isn't good. Don't put metal filings in amongst batteries. Right, so now we've got two batteries in series. We need to excuse the shed. It really needs a good tidy up, but I've just been making mess and not... Oh, that's bad of me, not putting the turning the end over on the tape. Right. Oh, there's going to be some loud noise. Okay, so we just tape them together just to make sure they don't escape. It doesn't have to be anything, you know, U-Butte, but just so when you pick them up they don't go wee. Well, you don't want them to go wee anyway. Right. Just don't, I mean, that's doesn't have to be pretty. And we may as well tape its little protective bit down like that, and that'll do. You know, we could go all the way, well, we will, just for the sake of completeness, we'll go all the way round. Okay, so that's our little battery pack rebuilt. Now here comes the scary bit, and you will witness this. You will witness this. Sorry. I've actually, that should be round the other way, but that's okay. We'll get there. Oh, Christmas trees. I should have. I'm gonna have to cut that off. There we go. Now we're right. A little bit more tape. Just pay attention to the polarity of the... I mean, I could have just twisted them round, but, you know, if a job's worth doing. Right. So, the beauty is we slide this back in, as it was, and it goes back in. It's not as easy as coming out because you've slightly changed the geometry of things. You know, the batteries aren't quite in the same position, but we'll get there. There we go. Okay, now this is the bit where it gets scary and it makes you pull it apart again. I've tried every which way. What it's doing is, because when I join these together, all the current from the battery is going to rush in. It's called inrush current, and it's going to inrush and start charging the circuitry in there, because it's meant to work offline. So it's already kind of on. Now, because I'm showing you this and I've set it up like this, it won't do it. We know it won't do it, but I'm expecting it to do it, so I'm not going to be too disappointed if it doesn't. So here we go, and it's not going to hurt you. You can put gloves on if you really want, but it won't leap out of there. It's got to get from these to here, and it's not going to come out. A way to deal with this is you could connect things to here with a resistor and let it slowly go in, but yeah, why bother? So here we go. It's going to go bang and flash maybe. Okay, that was just a little bang. So that's back in again. It wasn't as upsetting as I thought it would be. Not upsetting, what's the word? I'm trying to find, you know, not theatrical, but it would have been a little bit more, oh, fill your own word in there. So that's it. We've now changed le batteries, and it may actually switch on without being plugged in. Let's see. No. So we need to charge it. So we plug her in and we go clunk, and now it will show us press and hold. Okay. Oh yeah, because I only pressed it once, that's the test. So that's actually on now with no load. So 233 volts, 50 hertz, 233, 50, no watts, no volt amps, no percent, and 87 minutes of hold time. So if I switch it off now, it goes into power save mode and it says it's running from the battery. So that's good. That's working. We've breathed, yes, and it beeps. We've breathed new life into it. So we'll let it have a charge, as it should. Before we use it, we need to charge it up completely, and then I can replace it. Job done with very little zappy zap. So just remember, when you're putting the thing together, the final plug, it may go bang, but that's okay. Well, if you've done everything right, it's okay. It's just inrush cone. If you've wired them up back to front and you're putting positive to positive and it goes bang flash, that's not. Don't blame me. But if you do it the way I showed you and exactly the way that it was, you should be all right. All right. See ya. Just a small addendum. A few of you may have noticed that I had the wrong battery in my hand, that I said, and this one's the good one, or I said, and this one's not the good one. Yes, changes have been made, and I'm now repairing the sus one, just to see if it will repair. But, yes, it wasn't until I watched the footage back that I saw that. Oops.